Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel ETS Reacts, and today we're doing the Winter 2026 weekly anime review. I think this is week 6 now. Week 5, week 6, whatever it is. We are back, and if this is your first time watching the weekly anime review, how we rate them is 10 is the best anime episode you have ever watched. 9 was, man, that was really good. Example being, I think Jujutsu Kaisen, the Maki episode, was a 9. 8 is really, really solid episode this week. 7 is above average. It was alright. And then 6 was mid, just average. Nothing crazy about it, but it wasn't bad. And then 5 was kind of like, I don't really know if I liked it. And then anything 4 and below was kind of crap. So that's how we do our scale here, and let's not wait anymore and let's get into what our ratings is. And first, the show we do on Wednesdays is Oshi No Ko. I think it was a 7 this week. I can see how some people might have it here. It was a difficult one this week with the Kane scandal that is going to be happening next episode, but just the start of it with the producer that was kind of walking the fine line of getting consent because he knew what he was doing, trying to forcibly getting her to say yes through the role and the pressing her stardom in the future when she's clearly not thinking straight because she's at such a low point in her personal life and her career. So he definitely knew what he was doing there, and so it was maybe an uncomfortable episode is the best way to say it, but sometimes uncomfortable episodes doesn't mean that they aren't good. And I thought it was a good episode of kind of at the beginning kind of trying to figure out, like, you knew something was up, like, why is this person who's never reached out to Kana ever before reaching out to her? Then I really think we'll get into it with the X community coming up here, because I think some of my points are what I've talked about in this stuff. I said if Oshi No Ko had a peak ending and it's all of them pregnant, which the incest stuff is crazy with Oshi No Ko. So my first point here, and I don't know, this could get some people angry, could not. I don't really know, but I know online there's a big debate between Akane and Kana, and I think it really just stems from like the romance side. And to be honest, I really enjoy the romance side of Oshi No Ko, and I've said this in the reactions, but in seasons 1 and 2, I really liked Kana a lot more than Akane, because I just felt like Akane was trying to fit the eye roll, and Aqua just saw I in her, not really like Akane, where I feel like Aqua really saw Kana as like a person and really liked her as Kana. So that's why I liked Kana more in seasons 1 and 2. In this season, Akane's been really cool about accepting anything that has to go on with Aqua, while Kana has been a lot more self-serving-ish. And I just felt like this is partially Kana's fault that she's in this situation. Like, if she told the agency what she was doing, they could have ran background checks on the producer and the actress, because the actress totally called the paparazzi. And I don't know why, because we don't have the backstory on the actress yet, but the first thing that jumps out to me is she's working for the dad, because we saw in the intro, I mean, the dad was just eating Akane, Ruby, Kana, all of them off of the stage. So that's the only thing that makes sense to me right now. And then part of that episode, they were talking about the agency giving them more freedom than a big agency. Well, that's out the window. That's gone real fast after this whole scandal situation, because she thought that she was an adult who can handle her own relationships. And, you know, when you're tempted by stardom and peer pressure, it gets hard to say no. But hey, if you knew this information beforehand, you wouldn't have gone and hung out with them. So that's why I kind of think it's her fault. But then people were going into saying crazy stuff online of like how she gave him consent and she wanted it. And I was like, she definitely didn't give him consent. She may have thought about it for a second, because she thought about, what, I could get this role, I could gain stardom. Like, this may, I don't really know if this is true, but she was like, this may get Aqua to look at me because I'll be as big of a movie star as Akane. But then she came to her senses real quick because she wanted to make it on her own skills. But what's sad now is that no one's going to hire her because of the scandal, so her skills won't matter anymore. I did think it was really cool when they get the multiple stars in Kana's eyes. That was it for the Oshi No Ko stuff, I think. Oshi No Ko, really good episode. I thought moving forward it was going to be more of like Aqua and Ruby attacking the dad now. But to be honest, the vibes that I get moving forward, especially with the scandal stuff, is it's going to be more about Akane and Kana and how the dad's going to be terrorizing them. Which I don't know if that's really the way I wanted to see the show move forward. I wanted to see the show move forward of Ruby and Aqua tag team and not like that, the dad, and to try to get him to come out of the shadows more, and Aqua and Ruby do that. But it just seems like it's going to be the downfall of Akane and Kana with their scandal, and because Akana got the white roses. So JJK, I think it was an 8. And I think if you're looking at these, I think JJK was my favorite episode this week. I'd probably put it at an 8.5. Why it was my favorite? I just really enjoyed the start of the calling games. I just think this season 3 as a whole has been done really well and has kept me really entertained, and I'm just excited. I think it's more out of the excitement to see where the calling games is moving forward, and we're getting little bits and pieces more of like, I'm like, okay, I'm finally starting to understand the calling games a little bit more. Like the rules are starting to make more sense. We're starting to make, steps forward into this thing. I'm just really excited to see where they're going, because the beginning was kind of cool just with them all together and kind of game planning what their steps were. So we saw, and then we got into the actual Tokyo colony number 1, where Fushiguro and Yuji were going to, and you kind of see a little bit of it before where the airplane head, that's an ass curse technique, by the way. Let's side note for a second. Can you imagine getting rotors on your head as your curse technique when you have Gojo's curse technique, when you have Geto's curse technique, when you have the Black Flash, when you have Fushiguro, when you have all these amazing curse techniques, and you're like, I'm blessed with airplane head. Nuts. But they had the best strategy, though. These newbies come in, you just pop them in the mouth right away, and that's what I would try to do. You try to get people off guard, and you pounce on them for easy points. And I think that's kind of what's happening to them right now, because these people seem innocent. That's leading them to where the blue-haired guy is, but in reality it isn't, because they're leading them to 2 different ways. They seem innocent, but they've survived there for 12 days, so there's obviously a reason. And I think that's kind of more to me of, I'm excited to see where the next steps go, so that's why it's an 8.5 to me this week, and I have to wait 2 weeks to figure it out. I guess a week now, but anyway. Tamon B-side, I think it's an 8 this week. I thought it was a good episode seeing Kaede's B-side of an otaku lover. It caught me so off guard. I think it might be my favorite B-side so far, because you had the gloomy one, which I really like the gloomy one because he's innocent and pure-hearted as Gloomy Hara, but he also has like a C, D, E, F, G, H, I, G side too, so there's a lot of sides going on with Tamon. And then Ori's side is, the gorilla, angry, I'm gonna pound my chest and stick it out for, like, to put on that front of being tough when he has some insecurities. That one I don't mind. I think he's my second favorite one right now, or third, because I think it goes Kaede's, Tamon, Ori, and then Eater leader Kaito, because Kaito is just a money grabber right now. He's kind of also a decent leader, because the points that he made to Kinoshita at the end of that episode were all kind of factual. Like, they did mess up their performance because of Kinoshita. Like, they were trying to practice so hard because they both wanted to impress her. And then I forget the other point that he made that was kind of right too. But it was a really good episode. I'm excited for the training camp going forward when she's going to have to spend 3 days in a row with the A and B side. It should be crazy. Polar opposites, I think it's another 8, but I think it wasn't as good as Tamon's B-side. I just think this anime has just really good after really good episodes, and it just kind of stays there. I think the whole Yamada and the Quiet Library girl, their relationship's hilarious. I think the Taria guy is freaking funny too. he just sees those girls giggling at him, and he has the most normal reaction of, please, let's get out of here. I hate when people look at me and whisper because it's just normal. Like, they're talking about you, but in reality, they're not saying anything bad. But in your head, you always assume they're saying the worst thing ever. And then we had Richan, which I thought Richan was a really cool character too. The boyfriend that was a 15-second boyfriend, and it ruined their whole relationship, which I get. It's a very middle school thing to do. But I thought he was a really cool character, how he handled it. To be honest, my least favorite character this episode was Tani-kun, because I feel like he really blew it out of the water of the whole Richan situation, and then kind of putting a down in the dumps feeling on the culture festival, leaving, and then I don't really see you and I are polar opposites on X, but I'm sure people were having a heyday with the Suzuki comment of sleeping with 100 women or 100 dudes. It doesn't matter if you're pure and positive moving forward or something like that, which I agree with. I think that's all the ideal way that every single one of us want to think, but in reality, it's a lot harder than that. But I could see how people were maybe online trashing that. I honestly don't know if they were, but I can see if they were. And Hana-Kimi, I dropped it. It's a sad day. If I get 3 people in the comments that say they really want to see a Hana-Kimi reaction, then I've recorded 3 and 4. I can put them up, but to be honest, I just didn't feel like they were my best work. At the end of 3, I was kind of like, do I continue this? Do I not? Then I watched episode 4 and I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I really like the track Oshi and Mizuki's relationship. I think they're the best. Honestly, I think Golden Retriever Natsuki, that's his name, right? Golden Retriever Natsuki. I think he's the best character by far. I laugh out loud hard when he has some of his jokes. It's just, I just feel like the quality of my reactions aren't that great. But if you guys want to see episode 3 and 4, I just don't think Hana-Kimi has performed amazingly well on my channel here. Like, I think it was stuck at 12 views for 8 days. And I just think with my channel right now, like, I want something that's hitting 20 views in 2 or 3 days, which these were not doing. Like, this one episode 1 performed a little bit better, but that's just episode 1. And then the fact that I'm 6 episodes behind, I don't think helps either. And like I said, if I get 3 comments on here saying people really want to see it, then I'll release them and keep watching. But I don't think 3 people are going to comment saying they want to watch it. So let's see what y'all thought of our one response. Let's see if there's any more. Probably still 1. They gave Oshi No Ko a 1, which it looks like they gave a lot of episodes 1. They're just a Tamon person. They think Tamon is Wakami, is a god. So they loved Tamon at a 10, and everything else they gave a 1. So they were not a fan of Oshi No Ko Jujutsu Kaisen, or you and I are polar opposites, probably just because they didn't watch the show. But they love themselves some Tamon, which is good. I also love myself some Tamon. And was there anything else that I wanted to bring into this? Oh yeah, this was funny. Yuji spawning into the calling games like it's Fortnite fried me. Did he even think the bus driver? Yeah, this was funny too. Still thinking about Jimmy standing up for Kinoshita. I'm not going to say that one. My sillies, haha, yes, he may have failed immediately. This one's good though. This is the one. So we had Tamon staying at number 1. Don't watch Farron. I think it may be too slow for me. Before I did reactions, I started episodes 1 and 2, and people just hyped it, and I was like, the first 2 episodes were in. And I think that just kind of disappointed me, and it turned me off. So let me know if I need to get back into Farron. Maybe I start on the channel. Then Oshi No Ko Season 3, I can get how that stays there. You and I are polar opposites. I think's peak. Don't watch that one. Don't watch that. I watched the original, like, Fate Unlimited Blade Works, and I thought it was like a 6.5, 7. Like, I thought it was pretty good. I'm shocked that Calling Games fell down, though. I think that's the one that I didn't quite understand. And this is the one I regret not watching Journal with the Witch instead of Hana-Kimi. I should have started that. So yeah, I think that's my episode this week, unless I wanted to go through anything else on here. I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all of my subscribers. I've gained a decent amount the last couple of days, so I thank you guys for that. And my views have been up this past week, so I really appreciate that too. Thank you all for tuning in this week. I think it might be my best week so far of views, so I really appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys keep enjoying the content. And this is signing off. Thank you.